Righty, my name is Howard Martell, broadcasting here from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Why 2026 is different, why it matters. We're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to be interweaving some scripture into this. The parable of the sower, Mark 4:1-12. Now, listen, behold, a sower went out to sow, and it happened as he sowed that some seed fell by the wayside, and the birds came and devoured it. Some fell on stony ground, where it did not have much earth. When the sun was up, it was scorched because it had no root and withered away. And some fell among thorns, and thorns grew up and choked it, and it yielded no crop. But other seeds fell on good ground and yielded a crop, some 30-fold, some 60, and some 100. Then Jesus explained, the sower sows the word. Those by the wayside, Satan comes immediately and takes away the word. Those on the stony ground receive it with gladness, but have no root. When the trouble comes, they stumble. Those among thorns, the cares of the world, deceitful riches, and the desires for others choke the word. Those on good ground hear the word and accept it and bear fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. I'll close with this. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. Mark 4:9. In episode number 1, we're going to go deep into 2026. Before we dive into math and money, I want to frame all of this with something Jesus said about how people respond to truth. So we're going to look at Mark 4:39 and 14-20. So just bear with me. If I pull it up. Mark 3, King James Version. Hearken, behold, there went out a sower to sow. And it came to pass as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and the fowls of the air came and devoured it up. And some fell on stony ground where it had much earth, and immediately sprang up because it had no depth of earth. But when the sun was up, it was scorched, and because it had no root, it withered away. And some fell among thorns, and thorns grew up and choked it, and yielded no fruit. And others fell on the good ground, and did yield fruit that sprang up and increased, and brought forth some 30, some 60, some as 100. And he said unto them, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Now, let's go on to the next one. What's the next verse? 14-20. So just bear with me as I pulled it up. 14-20. The sower soweth the word, and these are they by the wayside where the word is sown. But when they have heard, Satan cometh immediately and taketh away the word that was sown in their hearts. And these are they likewise which are sown on stony ground, and who, when they have heard the word, immediately receive it with gladness, and have no root in themselves, and so endure but for time. Afterward, when affliction or persecution arise for the word's sake, immediately they are offended. And these are they which are sown among thorns, such as hear the word. And the cares of this world and deceitful riches and the lusts of other things enter and choke the world and become unfruitful. In verse 20, and these are they which are sown on good ground, such as hear the word and receive it and bring forth fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, some and 100. All right. So this is exactly the four ways. Some will like the wayside, they'll hear and dismiss it immediately. Some will be on stony ground, excited for the moment, then go right back to old habits. Doesn't that sound like the New Year's resolution? And some will be among thorns. They'll let the cares of the world and deceitful riches choke what they've heard. They're chasing the old mighty dollar, the old mighty money, instead of valuing what they have been given to be a steward of what God has provided them. And some will be good on good ground. They'll hear, accept, and apply this truth and will bear fruits in their lives. My prayer and challenge to you as we go through the series is decide to be good ground. Hear, accept, and act on what you know is true. So, episode 2, it's going to be a short recap of the parable of the seed, right? I've already went through it in this first section. We talked about the parable of the sower, the 4 kinds of ground, what Jesus said about the third group, and the one among thorns is especially important for this episode. He said, the cares of this world and deceitful of riches and desires for other things entered and choke the word and become unfruitful. That's exactly what happens when we cling to paper promises. We worship convenience. We chase surface level comfort instead of deep wisdom. Just because you are chasing more money doesn't mean that that's going to solve all your problems. You have to value what's already been provided to you as a steward, just like the parable of the seed, right? The seed is God's word, okay? But the seed can also you can palatially say Howard's seed is financial stewardship in the marketplace and also in his personal life because he wants to help those less fortunate with the blessings and abundance that God has stewarded him and his family with. And I take that like as an honor that God has picked me to manage his resources. Are the cares of this world and deceitful riches choking out what I know I should be doing? Hard assets, gold, silver, land, real estate are not about greed. They're about stewardship in the world where money is being shaken. Good ground doesn't ignore reality. It hears the word, accepts it, and bears fruit. Then, as we continue on, we're going to go to episode number 3, why most people will lose. Right after you, I list the 4 comforts: saving, cash, wages, blind retirement trust, and I'll figure it out later. This is exactly what Jesus is warning about the parable of the sower. The wayside hear the word, but it's snatched away immediately. The stony ground gets excited, but there's no root. So when pressure comes, they fall. The thorns let the cares of this world and deceitful riches choke what they heard, choke out the word, the living word, Jesus Christ. That's a spiritual truth, but you can see it in your finances too. People hear about inflation, debt, hard assets, but then the news cycles distract them. Fear paralyzes them, or comfort lulls them back to sleep. The question is this a moment of massive change? Which kind of ground will you be? Because the opportunity in 2026 is real, but it will only bear fruit in the lives of those who hear, accept, and act. Then go back into your mindset of winners and practical contrast. Now, this is the next theme in episode 4, turning your home business into a hard asset. Nearing the beginning as you shift from why many businesses aren't real assets into what makes one. Jesus said, good ground are those who hear the word, accept it, bear fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. Mark verses 4 all the way through 20. Think about that in business terms. Many people hear about business and wealth building. A small number accept the truth that they need to own something real. Only a fraction bear the fruit 30 times, 60 times, 100 times, because they actually obey the truth they heard. Your home business can be wayside, just an idea that never got rooted. Stony, hype with no systems, no depth. Thorny, constantly choked by distraction, debt, and desires for other things. Or good ground, a real fruitful asset that produces a harvest over time. As we talk about systems, lists, offers, and brand, remember this isn't just technique. It's about choosing to be good soil and how you steward what God has put in your hands. Then continue with the 4 steps to turn a hustle into a hard asset. In episode 5, we're gonna connect all of this. Positioning blueprint right at the start or in your final recap. In Mark 4, Jesus said the parable of the sower was foundational. Do you understand this parable? And how then will you understand all the parables? Mark 4 through 13. Why? Because it's about how we respond when the truth is sown. Over this series, we've sown a lot of truths about 2026, about broken money, about hard assets, about building real businesses, and about education and responsibility. Now, the question isn't, was the information good? The question is, what kind of ground will it be on? Wayside, you heard it and let it get snatched away. Stony, you felt the conviction for a moment and then went back to normal. Thorny, you let the cares of the world and deceitful riches choke it up. Or good ground, you hear, you accept, you act, and you bear fruit 30, 60, 100-fold. My prayer is that you'll be on good ground, not just spiritually, but also in how you steward your money, assets, and your calling this time. Throughout this series, we keep going back to Jesus' parable of the sower, Mark 4, 1 through 20. The truth about 2026, money, hard assets, and business are like a seed. Some will let it bounce off. Some will be excited, then forget. Some will let the cares of the world choke it up. If you will be good ground, they'll hear, accept, and act. This series, for those who chose to be good ground, steward both their faith and finances wisely in a time of shaking. If you like, we can definitely please like, subscribe, and tell me what you want to hear about more about the stuff because I'm going to go a little deeper into this right now. We still got some time. Let's see what time it is right there. Only 9 minutes. We flew through that. I'm going to go deeper into each section and stuff. Just bear with me. So we're going to go into episode 2. Okay. So let's go here to this. Now, real from paper to real, why hard assets win when money breaks. Right after you explain the difference between paper assets and hard assets, before you go into why assets win when money breaks. Before we go deeper, I want to connect this something to Jesus' talk that I believe applies very strongly right now, the parable of the sower, Mark 4. Jesus said, listen, behold, the sower went out to sow. Some seed fell by the wayside, some on the stony ground, some among thorns, some on good ground, and yielded a crop 30-fold, 60, and 100. Mark 4, 3 through 8. Then he explained, the sower sows the word. These are the ones by the wayside. Satan comes immediately and takes away the word. These are the ones who sown on the stony ground. They have not root, no root. When tribulation or persecution arises, immediately they stumble. These are the ones among thorns. The cares of the world, the deceitfulness of riches, and the desires for others enter in and choke the word. But these are the ones on good ground. Those who hear the word, accept it, and bear fruit. Mark 4, 14 through 20. In this series, we're talking about broken money and about hard assets, about real value is seed. And Jesus warned about thorns, the cares of this world, the deceitful riches and desires for others, things that choke the word and make it unfruitful. That's exactly what we see when people cling to short term comforts, shiny object distractions. The illusion of paper is safer than what's real. As we talk about moving from paper to real, I want you to ask, am I letting the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke out the truth I'm hearing? My prayer is that you and I will be on good ground and I'll hear, accept, and act and actually bear fruit from what we're talking about here. Now, when I continue on with episode number 2, we're going to say why hard assets win when money breaks. So, what's going on right now? I'll give you a little history and stuff like that. In in 1973, Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard. We had a reserve currency, the dollar, on the gold standard, backed by gold. Countries were calling us out, and we didn't have the assets to give them physical transfer, physical custody to them. They would pay us for the amount, and then we would transfer it. We didn't have it, so we became a creditor nation. And then we made agreements with places like Saudi Arabia for the petrodollar. So, and we would provide protection to the Saudi king and princes and stuff, right? So that's just a little bit of history. But then, as we continue to try to build bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger man-made government, you see the chaos that it created. You see the debt. You see all countries that were borrowing at low interest rates. Let's fast forward. The part of the Great Reset happened multiple times in my lifetime. 2007, we had the housing crash. 2008, you had the dot-com bubble. When we bought our house, we live out in Kempsville, Virginia Beach. This house was on the market for 9 years, right? The seller was leaving the army. They were leaving the area. They were just trying to get rid of it. So we got a really good deal on it. We've been living here since that time, and the house is almost paid off. So why most people will lose? But now, on top of that, it's the irresponsibility of not only businesses, but that's why you see so much chaos going on because man has become very greedy in the capitalist way. There's nothing wrong with capitalism. It's just how you steward what God has provided you. So if you are a business owner or a leader in a church, make sure that you're stewarding and you're providing the flock with resources to make sure that they can bless others by living that example, that godly example, you know. And that's what is awesome when you start this journey of understanding the parable of the sower because every day you sow you sow because you are working for somebody else's dream as a employee. The difference between an employee is you're a W-2. Your employer pays you a salary that he thinks is fair based on the market averages and based on what he can get out of you. Now, the job of the company is to provide you the tools and ability to be able to do your job. You're there to produce widgets or whatever you do. Me as a senior risk analyst, I analyze data that's provided to me by a third party or through systems, and then I make recommendations on what that risk level will be for that information systems. It's very intricate. It's very detailed. That's why I treat my business very detailed because it's part of my multiple streams of income. But it started back in the 90s when I was dibbling and dabbling in while on active duty, and we were stationed in Hawaii of all places, in Honolulu, in Wahiawa, where I was stationed outside about a 5-minute walk to work. I lived on the base there, right there in the pineapple fields. And I got connected with a like-minded individual and started working. Didn't really know what I was doing, but then in 1999, it really started to come to fruition when I joined my one of my current companies. I'll be going on to 17 years coming up next December. 17 years with one marketing company that provides tools, training, and traffic. That's scrolling down below. You go to Modern Leads there, or go on my YouTube channel, or go to facebook.com/Howard Martell. See, I'm everywhere. But see, there's purpose behind being everywhere because I want to make sure as many eyeballs get this message because this is important for those youngsters who feel that they are not going to have their fair shake at the American dream. You can still have the American dream. You just got to know where to park your assets right now. Where you want to park your assets, hard assets, silver, gold. They're already starting to do this. Country's been doing this for decades because they're trying to de-dollarize what's going on with all the chaos that's going on in America. Now, we still want to have one of the best functioning economies, but we have people that have lost their jobs because of automation, artificial intelligence. It happens. But see, if these people were prepared, they already had a plan A, plan B, plan C, just like the military teaches me. That's right. Military taught me many, many skill sets that apply in my business and also in my faith. So Jesus actually describes this dynamic perfectly. One closing thing before we continue to start. The Juan Kerry trade deal also was all countries were borrowing money, Juan, from Japan. Japan recently stopped doing that as of this week. That's why silver went up a lot. Now it took some of its profits back, but guess who? How many assets in the world can you have an 150 to 170% increase in 1 year? Silver's up 60% year and date as of yesterday. Okay, people, it's real. God talks about it. He talks about gold and silver at least 600 to 700 times in the Bible. Look it up. I'm not gonna BS you about stuff. This is directly from God's word. So Jesus actually describes this dynamic perfectly in the parable of the sower in Mark 4. He said, the sower sows the word, the living flesh that Jesus Christ has spoken. These are the ones by the wayside. When they hear, Satan comes immediately and takes away the word that was sown in their hearts. These likewise are the ones sown on stony ground. They receive it with gladness, and they have no root in themselves. When tribulations or persecutions arise, immediately they stumble. These are the ones sown among thorns. The cares of the world, the deceitful riches, and desires for other things entered in choking the word and become unfruitful. But these are the ones sown on good ground. Those who hear the word, accept it, and bear fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. That's Mark 4:14 through 20. Think about how this applies here. Wayside. Some people will hear everything we've said about 2026, debt, inflation, hard assets, and will bounce right off, gone before it even lands. Stony. Some will be fired up for a day or two. Then, as soon as life gets busier and comfortable, they drop out. No root. Thorns. Some will agree with everything in theory, but the cares of this world, the deceitful riches, the bills, the pressure, the distractions, the desire for comfort will choke the truth until it bears no fruit in their life. Good ground. A smaller group will hear, accept, and act, and it will produce 30, 60, 100-fold over time. And that happened for me and my family in 2025. I got my college degree, graduated with honors from Southern New Hampshire University, cum laude for my Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity. Took me a year. It was an accelerated program. Took a lot of time and effort. But you have to have that support group, that family group, that faith-based group that's saying, hey, man, you got this, man. You got this. No matter what age you are, you can get educated. And you don't need a college degree. YouTube, even TikTok has videos out there that you can learn from people. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing technology in a good way, and I'm using artificial intelligence to help me come up with my studies, my inductive Bible study, how I break down each verse. And it learns from how I communicate, and then it speaks existence into the word. All right. The opportunity 20 is real, but like Jesus said, not everyone will respond the same way. The question isn't, will there be a wealth transfer? The question is, what kind of ground will it be when the truth is sown? My hope is that you listen. You won't be wayside, stony, or thorny ground. You choose to be good ground. Now, episode 4, the home business owner turns their hustle into hard assets. Near the beginning, right after you explain that most businesses are just stressful jobs, and before you define what makes a business a hard asset. Let's connect this again to what Jesus said in Mark 4, because it just doesn't apply to hearing the gospel. It applies to how we respond to the truth of any kind, including money and business. In the parable of the sower, Jesus said some seeds fell by the wayside, some on stony ground, some on thorns, and some on good ground and yielded a crop, some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. Mark 4, 3 through 8. Then he explained the sower sows the word. Those by the wayside, Satan comes immediately and takes away. Those on the stony ground receive it with gladness, but not have no root, so they endure only for a time. Those among thorns, the cares of this world, the deceitful riches, and the desires of other things choke the world and becomes unfruitful. But those on the good ground hear the word, accept it, bear fruit, some 30-fold, some 60, some 100. Mark 4, 14 through 20. Now think about that in terms of business. Wayside. You hear teaching on system, lists, assets, but you never act. It gets snatched away. We call that the shiny object syndrome. And when you're dealing with people that aren't really driven to help others, who want to learn and thrive in the marketplace, we call them energy vampires. They'll suck the blood out of you. You run as fast as you can away from those people because they just want to create chaos. Think of them as Satan. You get excited about turning your business into a real asset, but as soon as it requires extra effort and consistency, you quit. No root. Thorns. You start building, but then the cares of the world, the bills, the fear, the busyness, the deceitful riches, chasing quick money, the desires for other things, comfort and distraction, coming to choke your progress. You're always busy, but you're never fruitful. Good ground. You hear what you need to do, clarify your offer, build your list, document your system, own your brand, and you actually do it. Over time, your business starts producing a harvest 30, 60, 100-fold. And that's what happens when you create multiple streams of income in any business, whether it's affiliate marketing, direct selling, whatever it is. It could be a mom and pop store. It all starts with a list. The money is in the business, is your list. Without it, you will fail. Remember, the money is in the business, that the list that you build and how you interact, communicate to that. Network marketing is all about networking and marketing a product or service that solves a consumer or a business's problems. And then you get paid money because they take money out of their resources to steward it to you and your business. Now, evangelistic marketing is about spreading the gospel, but you can spread the gospel many ways. You can spread it through word of mouth. You can spread it through technology these days. You can spread it through the word by speaking the word into existence. I'm sowing a seed in your stewardship. You get to choose what kind of ground your business life will be: wayside, stony, thorny, or good. We're going to continue on the 4 steps to turn your business into a hard asset. And so, what is going to happen is, let me go here, this. We're going to have one more lesson real quick, a closing out lesson. For some reason, my lesson decided to fall away from the wayside. So just bear with me as I'm running it through so I can have it in front of me. As I said before, it's a credible time to be in the marketplace. As a believer in Christ, it's my job to not have everybody scared and understand and be truthful about person. Say, hey, you're not going to make money overnight by just sitting in the stock market and hoping and praying and not managing your stewardship dollars. Faith and finance, the sower and the wealth transfer. Before we close, I want to bring this series back to the picture Jesus gave us in Mark for the parable of the sower. He said, the sower sows the word. Some fall by the wayside and taken away. Some on stony ground, no roots, so it withers. Some among thorns, the cares of the world, the deceitful, the richness, and the desires of other things choke it. And some on good ground, hear, accept, and bear fruit 30-fold, 60, and 100. Mark 4, 14 through 20, condensed. Everything we talked about in the series, 2026, hard assets, debt, inflation, home business, education has been a seed. Now we're at the point where for some, it will be a wayside. It just bounce off and be forgotten, as I remember before, what I said before. And for others, it'll be stony ground, good intention for a week, then back to the old patterns. We call that the, I'll give it an old try, Johnny. And you're not disciplined. You're not a disciple of Christ. You're not following the way, the truth, the true I am. So you gotta, it takes 21 days to form a habit. Look it up. It takes 21 days to form a habit. And you have to have a good spiritual mind, especially in business, because you've got to understand that you're going to get more no's than yeses. But a no can eventually become a yes if the right tone is accepted by that individual and they hear the message. I'm going to use this analogy. I use this a lot. This is from famous pastor Dr. Tony Evans. You have the transceiver. In the military, we had a transceiver. It's a device that sends a signal. That signal is God's word, Jesus. He meets us at the cross where he shed his blood for me and you for sins, right? That but there's got to be a medium between that to decipher that code so the enemy doesn't get his Satan doesn't get his paws on it. So you have a device called a cryptographic device. It will scramble the zeros and ones and sends Jesus's signal to your receiver, which is the equipment, your ears. Now, you need to open your ears and close your mouth because out of the mouth, good things can come out and things that can be vomited can come out too, which is your bad things. You need to listen, then apply what each step in the process is. If you want to start a home based business, you want to work with somebody that has been successful, even on a part time basis, because even as a part time business owner, I get the same tax code savings for the last 32 years that all these big corporations get. And I paid a measly $50 to the state of Virginia to maintain my Home Profit Coach Inc. LLC S Corp, where I'm a one man president and CEO of Home Profit Coach, which my businesses fall under. I have both traffic tools, traffic, and so much more. And I'm planting seeds all across the world using technology in a good way. I'm getting viewers on my channels. I'm getting subscribers. I'm getting people to comment back on it. I'm getting people to join me because I'm providing value to to that list and to that customer or client. You got to think like that. But smaller groups will be good ground. They'll accept it and they'll act on it. And over time, it will bear real fruit in their lives 30-fold, 60, and 100. My hope is that I'll choose by God's grace to be good ground with what you've heard spiritually, mentally, and financially. Not from a place of fear, but from a place of stewardship and obedience in this moment of shaking. And I'm going to remind you, if you really want to know about metals education and who I go with personally, KEPM.com. I'm going to ask you to like, subscribe, comment, positioned for 2026. Positioned for 2026. It's crucial that you listen. It's crucial that you understand what is going on with this shaking. The shaking's happening for God's glory. And I want to position each and every one of you like God has positioned me and my family. When you have an investment that goes up 150% in 1 year, don't you want to be part of that kingdom stewardship? I do, because it's going to allow me to bless others with the knowledge that God continues to reveal to me because I am an avid person who thrives for knowledge, but he also uses the inductive Bible study version that was taught observation, interpretation, application. And then I apply that in my business too. And then I use tools like artificial intelligence and so much more. If you want to follow Howard, you can go to, just bear with me, bear with me. I'll give you my Facebook page. I'll show it on the screen too. So just bear with me. This is me here. It's going to say U.S. Navy veteran, follower of Christ. Okay. And I've got, you'll see some of my videos, how to create social media posts with AI. This is on, you can go to my YouTube channel here to get to subscribed. And this is what's going on right now in Matthew right now, right? We got to make sure that we understand what is going on with and what matters the most, right? It's how you use your stewardship dollars to uplift and help those who are in need, right? So you can go to howardmartell.com, right? You can also go to my YouTube channel. I'm going to share this out right here. You go to this YouTube channel here, and this is all concentrating on my business, basically. This is business. If I go to this one over here, I'll share this instead. This is everything. This is going to be on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. This is me right now, and this is the lives that we got going on right now. See? All my videos. So you see I'm a real person. This is me in my graduation garb from August of this year. So, in closing, if you want to be successful in the marketplace, what you want to do is you want to help others. You want to bring them to the forefront and them understand, hey, I understand what Howard's talking about. And I think I want to partner with an individual that has these values: honor, courage, commitment. I'm going to honor you because I want you to be successful, because when you're successful, I'm successful, and we can help bless others by making residual income together. Two, my commitment to you is that I'm going to arm you with the best tools and traffic resources out there to help you. It's your job to take those tools and be a good, disciplined marketer, or a good person who follows the word, to have to be in the light, right? We want to be the light of the world. Three, honor, courage, commitment. I'm going to commit time with you, but understand I have a full-time job. I have a family. I'm not there to babysit people. I'm there to motivate people and give them the right tools. And I'll let the company who trains you, with the company that I've been with for 30, I've been for almost 17 years, called World Profit. They've been around for 32 years. They provide tools, traffic, and training to help you and your business grow. You see examples of how I use it in the marketplace. I constantly am promoting. I'm building my list, and then I introduce them to our One Marketplace. I'm going to share this link with you. One Marketplace is a storefront where you can shop, share, and earn. And we're like the new Amazon. Save more than you spend. Discover great products and services with tremendous value in our store. Watch the video to learn more. It's easy to join. These are our hero products here. You want to go to shop now? Click on shop now. You'll see what I'm talking about. These are one of our newest products, are ice elements. My wife's got these. I got it for Christmas for her, and these are our sales going on. Our products, we have ACI, Blaze, GMU Sports. We got electrolytes. We've got joint health. We've got our famous Blaze, which is our gas fuel enhancement pills that are actually FDA approved. Daily greens and reds, I take that daily. That helps definitely with getting all the greens and superfoods in my body. I take my PFP, perfect for perfect body. I've used Thrive Tape and so much more. And we're waiting to get these installed. Our holiday home water bundle, city and water, for your shower, and for what it does is it unhardens the water that's hardened with all those chemicals. It takes all that chemicals out. Our horny toad meats, and so much more. And we have Voyager, we have travel too: hotels, cruises, condos, car rentals, local deals, and much more. And our digital suite, transform your life with the AI powered digital suite. With that being said, take care. I hope you enjoy this message, and this will be sent out very, very soon. Take care. Bye.